Strangle him, pull my hands around his neck, gouge his freaking eyes out.
What does he do? Why does he make you so mad?
He says, oof. Every single time when something bad happens, he says freaking oof.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Grim. This kid is legit the scariest person I've ever seen featured on Dr. Phil's show. Guys, keep watching until the end to see what he's actually done that's made him so scary. But seriously though, without further ado, let's meet his family and hear about their situation first.
Now, this is not easy for you, right?
No, it's extremely hard. Like right now, I'm thinking I'm betraying her.
So this is the oldest daughter of the family here, and she is actually the one that did end up calling in to Dr. Phil's show, or I guess writing in, and begged for his help when it comes to her dysfunctional family, and dysfunctional is a bit of an understatement, to be honest. Her mom is not doing a very good job of raising her siblings, and that scares her because, let's just say, there are some very alarming things going on with her brothers that it definitely shouldn't go overlooked. Seriously, they're kind of legit crazy, but you will see more of that in just a second, alright?
I've tried since I was 14 to fix things, to make things better. I tried helping mom as much as I could.
So sadly, you know, it sounds like this girl had to grow up pretty quickly and kind of act like a mother figure to her younger siblings at the age of 14. No idea what her parents were doing, but they for sure weren't being good parents, so she had to do what she could to try and raise them. But I mean, how effective are you gonna be at raising kids when you yourself are still a kid? That never works, but I admire that she had the strength to try and help them even though she technically didn't have to. That's a good sister right there. Also, it's pretty sad that it seems like she's ashamed to have wrote into Dr. Phil's show because for some reason, like in her eyes, she sees that as betraying her parents. But you know, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do for your family, and I think she made the right move by writing into the show.
Your father was killed in a car wreck, right?
Yes.
And I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Well, yikes, this poor girl's dad died in a car accident, so I guess he was a pretty good parent, I'm sure, when he was around. But then not even a month later, her mom is just starting to online date and talk to all these guys. I'm sure it's just to fill a certain void in her heart, but I mean, I'm gonna guess that the dating started to kind of take the forefront here, and she was spending more time with her e-boy dates than she was being a parent to her kids. So that would explain this girl's younger siblings, you know, and why they're so messed up right now. Because they didn't really have a parent, and instead this girl is the person they rely on for guidance, and she's away at college now, plus she shouldn't even have to bear that responsibility at all, but she does still.
That's not reasonable. I mean, what you were asked to do is not reasonable, right?
Well, I mean, how I personally felt, like I have to. No one else is there. I have to save my family.
Alright, the way you have to look at it is basically this girl was faced with a massive tragedy at the age of 14 and then had her family basically dumped on her as her responsibility when she's still figuring out life herself. So it does really suck that she was legit robbed of her childhood. I know at 14 I would not be able to parent my younger sisters, like I was still very much a child myself, so once again I do gotta give props to this girl for trying her best. It just sucks she has to resort to getting help from Dr. Phil now since everything is so bad with her family lately, and to be honest, it just seems like this mom doesn't care, or at least it'll seem that way when you meet her here later on.
Do you recognize that these boys are suffering from severe behavioral issues?
Yes.
So now the mom is on stage, and even she realizes and admits that her sons are having some serious issues with their behavior. And you might think to yourself that maybe, you know, we're all just overreacting. But no, literally one of them is legit a future serial killer already. Like, they're insane. But we will get into that fully, don't worry guys. I'm just glad at least the mom isn't fighting Dr. Phil on the fact that they are indeed crazy, so that way they can just get to the actual issue and the root of the issue, which is her absent parenting.
What's your theory?
I feel in my heart it's genetics, but I also know that I'm not a perfect parent. There's probably some things that I do that I could change.
How about you be an actual parent, dude, instead of having your daughter, who is starting college and her life in general, and having her being in charge of these boys? I mean, instead you should do what you are responsible for, and that is raising these children. Of course, she'd just chalk it up to genetics, bruh, like, you know, that's what they always do, I swear. It's easier to blame the genetic makeup of your kid than it is to blame yourself for being just a trash parent.
I'm very sorry for your loss, by the way. And that was very difficult for you, right? Left a huge void.
Huge, huge void.
It sounds like obviously the loss of her husband is still a huge issue for this woman, and I'm not surprised by that. I mean, that's something that will probably never be okay for her. And, you know, most people wouldn't be able to, you know, handle that. When you lose a person that close to you, it just leaves a void in your heart that really can't be fixed. So I can see why she has fallen on hard times and not had the best focus on her kids lately. I mean, that doesn't excuse it. But you can kind of see where she's coming from when you look at it through her lens, all right? Just the thought of her husband brings her to tears 5 years later. That's still some massive open wounds for her when it comes to that situation. So maybe she just ignores her kids as a way to grieve, but that's really not the way you should be doing it.
Because after it first happened, we both had all of us had our little issues that we had to deal with here or there.
As much as you can hate on this woman for not being there for her kids, you also have to look at everyone's perspective too. Like, she just had an earth-shattering thing happen to her, like I was saying, so she's going to be a broken person after that. And then when you're faced with massive life changes like that, of course people are going to react differently. Her reaction was probably pretty negative. Some people could have worked through it better than her, but once again, I'm not excusing her for being an absent parent. You just have to kind of see from her perspective on why she's like that.
Why was this her job?
She was the only one there.
But she was 14 at the time.
I know.
I do have props for Dr. Phil here for standing up for this girl. You know, this daughter was afraid that her mom would think that she was, I don't know, betraying the family for writing into Dr. Phil's show. But in reality, the mom is the one that is betraying her family when she gave up full responsibility of her kids and just went off to do her own thing. So I'm glad Dr. Phil is actually, you know, asking her what she was thinking when she did that, because seriously, someone has to give this woman a reality check. She has brought a lot of difficulty to her daughter's life and her son's life by just acting this way.
Yell, kick, cuss, and I usually bite people. I've been mom before.
So as you can tell, we are meeting these sons right now, and this first one is already a bit too much to handle. He's out here biting his mom like he's a wannabe Dracula or something. For those of you who didn't know, it's probably not cool to be biting people, especially your parents. You really just shouldn't do that. And trust me, that is just the beginning when it comes to how insane this kid actually is.
I got kicked out of school for 10 days. I do not mean it when I say I'm gonna kill someone.
They only gave this older brother 10 days out of school suspension for threatening to literally take out another kid. No, expel this guy and maybe call the authorities, bruh. In this day and age, you do not play when it comes to stuff like that, alright? This guy is just willingly threatening people while he's walking around his school, and they only suspended him for a little over a week. That's kind of terrifying, dude, alright? They gotta tighten up on their security here.
So guys, real quick, I have a super fast challenge that only takes 5 seconds to complete. So if you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just give it a try, it really works.
He's threatened to stab me in the heart, punch me. He's threatened to kill my dog.
How could you even feel safe in your own home with two brothers that have behavioral issues and anger problems as bad as these two do? You know, I'd be afraid to wake up with them trying to smother me with a pillow or something, dude. That is seriously terrifying to have to live like that. I'm sure this girl is hyped that she's finally away from that and in college. I mean, I would not be able to sleep most nights out of fear that I did something to make them mad throughout the day and make them want to just come take me out or something.
Killed her little chihuahua. Wasn't even a year old.
Yeah, you're still
He
very
drowned it
upset
in the
over
pool.
that. Yeah.
First off, how is his sister so nonchalant about this? She's just like, yeah, I remember that. That made you mad. And you're still mad about that. Yeah, that was terrible. No, that's your dog. You need to be freaking out a bit more than you are right now, lady. I don't like how muted that reaction is. That's kind of creepy. Also, we can't glaze over this. This psycho kid literally tossed her chihuahua in the pool when he got mad, and it didn't survive. That is literally textbook serial killer origin story material right there. We need to get someone on the phone and get this kid some serious psychiatric help immediately. Dr. Phil, don't send him to the ranch because he might kill the cows. You gotta just send this kid on his own journey. Just the way this kid talks about his school bully that's apparently been picking on him is scary. He's meticulously daydreamed about this all day, and when his mother is away mentally and physically pretty much all day, who's to say he doesn't just snap sometime when no one is around and enough is enough? Literally nobody is helping him or trying to keep him in check, and that's very scary for a person like him.
What does he do? Why does he make you so mad?
He says oof. Every single time when something bad happens, he says freaking oof.
And he isn't even being bullied. He is actually describing in great detail all the ways he wants to inflict pain on his schoolmate, all because this kid says oof. Literally over one word. He's just spazzing out and threatening to rip this kid's eyes out or something. Call me crazy, I don't think that's very normal at all, and he should definitely be evaluated.
I would commend you for all the work you've done for your family. It's really commendable.
I'm happy that after all, this girl is getting some hype from Dr. Phil and his partners here because she really is a boss for stepping up. I know I've said that a lot in this video, but trying to at least be some sort of authoritative figure for her siblings when their mom was just kind of walking off and not caring about those responsibilities to go party and meet up with online dates. I mean, that's pretty cool of this girl. It's sad that she is probably feeling guilty though, you know, at how her brothers are turning out, because I think we all would be, even though it's not even entirely her fault or even close to being her fault at all. She probably still will feel bad bad seeing how messed up they're growing up to be. And I really hope that she can get away from having to deal with these two, because I'm sure with that and the stress of starting college in your life, it's just a lot to handle for a young adult. And I definitely couldn't see myself balancing all those responsibilities at my age, and she's even younger than me, so like I was saying, good for her. Let me know what you guys thought of this story though down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Make sure to keep it civil. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace out.